Welcome back, Captains. This is Admiral Yadis Starfleet Special Command. I'm here today with part 2 of our Presidio Tactical Command Battle Cruiser build and an update to 100k DPS. That's right, 100k DPS. Alright guys, what I'm going to do with this video, it's just going to be a part 2 to my previous one. I'm going to go back and go through my duty officers. I did not hit that in our last video, so I'm going to hit that real quick. Then I'm going to pull in our STO combat meter in on screen. We're going to go through the parse for the 100k, and I'm just going to give an overview of my build again real quick, just in case somebody hadn't seen the first video. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and hit our active space duty officers. I'm running 2 con officers. These con officers reduce the recharge time for a tactical team by 8 seconds, and it also to self the +10 starship attack patterns. I'm running 2 of those. I'm running 1 projectile weapons officer. That's a 20% chance to improve the recharge time by 5 seconds for torpedoes. Energy weapons officer, 50% chance to reduce the remaining recharge time by 10 seconds. Fabrication engineer for an additional 8 seconds to reverse shield polarity. And I'm running a warp core engineer for a 20% chance to +25 power levels. That actually happens quite a bit when you're running either multiple copies of emergency powered weapons or doing the emergency powered shields, emergency powered weapons, like I used to on my previous builds. Alright, go ahead and step over to the build real quick. Zach said it's the exact same as my previous video. Still running the damage ×3 crit D advanced feet phaser beam arrays, electronic torpedoes, running the 3-piece Iconian Romulan engines. But the only thing that's different here is this, the tachyokinetic converter. I actually upgraded that to epic. And the temporal disentangle, I can't remember if that was epic or not. One thing I've been playing with on these is substituting that with another one of the science plasma generate weapon signature nullifiers, the flow. I've been swapping those in and out. I really can't tell a DPS. Maybe on the high end, some of the guys, they see a little bit extra. It's about the same with me. I like this one in there because that's giving you the extra shield capacity, and it's giving you critical chance and crit severity, and then it's reducing 3% damage to shields, so it helps out a little bit. Go ahead and jump over to the stations real quick. It's the exact same thing as it was earlier. Alright, let's go ahead and see if I can drag this STO combat meter and show the DPS off. And it's going to be kind of weird because there it goes. Bam. And I lost it. Go ahead and we'll grab it to bring it back in there. There we go. Alright, as you can see, it was a 102.5k DPS. This was a DPS 50 channel, 50k run, I believe. I had 1 fleet guy in here with me, and the rest were from the 50k channel. From what I've noticed, if anytime I get around that high 90s into the 100k mark, this is about how it looks. I've had some that have had another person that's right in this area that's a little bit closer to me, but usually this is about how it is. If it's not like this, it's hard for me to get it in there. If I'm running a higher, like a 75k channel run, there may be 2 people at 100, and then the rest of them are going to be a lot lower. If I'm running with 3 guys that can do 100, there's no way that I'll get to 100. I'm usually in the 75k range. This ship, if you was to just build it just like now, like I have it, and take it into an ISA, you're probably going to get probably 75k out of it, 60 to 75k. And depending on how your flying is and who you're running with, that's when it's really going to push it up into the 90s, into the 100s. I can consistently get into the 70s and 80s, depending on how the team is, I can get into the high 90s, and then if I have a perfect run, and a lot of my really good runs come with fleet members, because we all know exactly what each other are doing and when we're doing it. That's when I start seeing my consistent numbers, and then I can consistently get into the 90s, and depending on how, which I'll go into in a minute, depending on how the neutronic torpedo and the chemosite gets, that's what's pushing me right into the 100s. But normally I'm averaging in the mid to high 90s. With a good run, doing a DPS channel run, I'm usually in the mid to high 80s, breaking into the 90s. Let's go ahead and drag this off, and we'll bring in the combat analysis report, if I can get it to come in. There we go. Alright, as you can see right here, under the phaser beam array, fire at will 3, almost 40k DPS just from fire at will 3. 22 phaser array. Here's the neutronic torpedo and chemosite, and both of on this particular run, I got 2 really good shots on the cluster of spheres that spawn after you take one of the sides down. I got it for the first time, and on the second time I got both of those, so that's pretty much where that comes from. Plasma explosion, this is the number with swapping out those consoles I was telling you about. That number may go up a little bit and may go down, just depending on what all happens if you're running 2 or 3. And my pets, that's going to be the Scorpion fighters, and the plasma torpedo from the Scorpion fighters, that's the refracting Tetron cascades from the tier 5 Nucara. Another plasma torpedo that is also from the pets, and then just the standard neutronic torpedo. But as you can see, most of the DPS comes from the beam arrays, and then like I said, this is right here is this group of 3 right here. You figure that's 20 right there, and then another 10. You're looking at closer right at 30k just from those 3 items. Plasma explosions comes from the science consoles, and then this chemosite and the neutron torpedo. So that right there makes up a lot. It really depends on how your run is, how your positioning is, how you time things. That's what usually pushes me over the 100k mark right now. Let's go ahead and get out of this. Back into STO. But alright guys, I wanted to just take a minute real quick. I'm just gonna go over what's going to be coming up on the channel. Like I said, I've gotten this ship out to 100k. I've been working on the Arbiter a little bit. I think the best I've gotten out of it's about 93 to 95. So I'm still working on trying to get it over 100. And again, like I said, you have to have some really good runs with my builds in particular to get over that 100k mark. I've got the Arbiter build coming. I also any of the guys in the fleet know that I have bought the Delta Pack. I've had that, so I've got access to the Intel ships. I've got access to all of the command battle cruisers. I do have the Guardian. Let's see what else I've got here real quick. I do have another build for the Defiant in the works. I did upgrade the Odyssey up to tier 5U, and basically what I've been doing is after I got with the guys at STO Continuum and they tweaked my build like this, I've been kind of going back through some of my older builds and applying these changes to those builds. So I've been testing those as well. There's the Guardian, the Phantom, there's the Fleet Battle Cruiser. I did pick up the Advanced Heavy Cruiser, and I do have the Heavy Escort Carrier, the tier 6 version of that too. Just today started playing with the Intel Cruiser. I'm liking this. I'm using a lot of the Intel abilities on that. It's really neat build. We'll see how that goes out. It's right now just me testing. It's about 75 to 80k right now, so that'll be a future video coming up. One thing I have also been playing with on my Defiant, I actually went back and started revisiting Cannon some, and right now it's the first time I've actually played with Cannon Scatter Volley, and I'm getting about 60k from the Cannon Scatter Volley build with chemosite and neutronic torpedo. So that's an interesting little build. I'm gonna keep playing with that and see what I can get out of that, and if I can consistently get above 60k DPS on cannons, I might start flying escorts again with cannons. So we'll see where that goes. A little bit of information on things that are to come, guys. Like I said, I appreciate everybody's support. Appreciate the likes and subscriptions that y'all do. It's gonna Hopefully it's going to help out a lot with things to come. If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, just shoot me an email in-game or drop a comment in the description below. Also, please go visit STO Continuum. Go visit their YouTube pages. There's a lot of information. Those guys are really good and they're very knowledgeable. And like I said, I really appreciate their help. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out here. Y'all take it easy. Y'all stay far.